Scott Hardy. I'm the Science Officer on the Hobbiton Restoration Project.
So Scott, can you tell us a little bit about what inspired you to go down this science route in life? What's your first memory?
It's really tricky to, I think, pick out a first memory. I always loved being outdoors and I always loved finding out how things worked. And I think as long as I can really remember, I love the science. It's the first science book I ever picked up. I remember going into the school library, and I think it was one of those eyewitness books, something, and flicking through that, and instantly kind of thinking, why aren't all my books like this one? It sort of feels like it's always been an innate part of me, and I suppose very much linked with nature and being out in nature and trying to work out why nature was the way it was.
So now you find yourself as the celebrated science officer on the Hobbiton Great Broad Restoration Project. I mean, we know it's a huge project, being funded by Life and by the Heritage Lottery Fund. It's quite unique in as far as it looks at both the cultural and the science behind that particular site. So how have you brought what you've learned from maybe the blanket bogs into the wonderful world of Norfolk and this particular project?
Well, one is I suppose how difficult these projects can be for a start. They're, like you say, they're quite kind of multifaceted. There's a lot of different angles to sort of think about. So I think it's, I suppose, a diversity to your role. It's understanding that, yes, I'm here to make sure that the project is gathering quality scientific data, that data is being analysed properly, and that we are learning and sharing the science from this project. But I suppose there's also this element of how do we communicate that to people outside of the conservation sector and ecologists. You know, there's interesting science here that actually the general public will be interested in, and how also can we get them involved in some of that science. So I think it's that sort of thing. It's being able to work in different ways that I think I bring from those previous roles.
In a nutshell, what makes this project special, and actually what are the stages that we're going to have to go through to ensure that we reach our aims?
Yeah, well, I think what makes it special is biomanipulation is a technique that you can use where you can kind of, in ecological terms, achieve some really quite rapid results. You know, in the natural world, nothing happens quickly. If you see results quickly, you know, a quick time frame in a forest is hundreds of years. You know, that's a blink of an eye. But with biomanipulation on the Broad, you can go from this situation that we've got at the moment, where you've got this really degraded water habitat. You've not got any aquatic plants, well, very few species, and a lot of bare mud in the bottom of Hobbiton Great Broad. And using biomanipulation techniques, we can switch that so that we've got full aquatic plants, a diverse community of invertebrates and fish communities that have really been lost from this area of the Broads for a significant period of time, probably since the 1920s, since it was in that sort of condition.